This time it will be a guide about Mio Takamiya. Mio Takamiya is a very strong character recommended for all players. She will complete all the end games, and she remains in a good position in the Chinese tier list. We start what it says in its general information. Mio Takamiya is holy damage, recovers 4 energy points per second. After casting a skill, Mio Takamiya consumes spiritual power to maintain the skill's damage. At the same time, with the additional skill Infinity, the effect and damage of the currently cast skill can be improved. When she does not cast a skill, or the skill does not reach the target, Mio Takamiya recovers 10 energy points per second. Now we move on to the Sephiras. It is advisable to obtain the complete set of Sephiras to take out, although the effect of the complete set of Sephiras is not very good, like that of other characters. This is the effect of the first Sephira, increases holy damage by 25%. When equipped to Mio Takamiya upon depleting her energy, she will immediately recover 100% of her energy, and will also increase her holy damage bonus by 20%, lasting 10 seconds and has a 25-second cooldown to activate said effect. The effect of the second Sephira says, increases critical rate by 15% and piercing rate by 15%. By equipping it to Mio Takamiya, you gain permanent super armor. Every time you are hit, you open the barrier to attack enemies within a certain range, causing damage of 800% of the attack power. The effect activates every 5 seconds. This is the effect that the Sephira does when the enemy hits you. Now the effect of the third Sephira says, attack increases by 20% and the damage of the awakening skill increases by 100%. When equipped to Mio Takamiya, the damage caused by the awakening skill ignores the target's defense. And the effect of the full set of Sephiras says, when equipped to Mio Takamiya, piercing damage increases by 20% and critical damage increases by 20%. The damage caused by skill 3 ignores 30% of defense. When Mio Takamiya appears on the battlefield, he partially casts skill 3, inflicting holy damage equal to 800% of attack power to enemies across the screen. This is what Mio Takamiya means when he enters the battlefield. That's why I say that Mio Takamiya's Sephira set effect is not good, since skill 3 is rarely used. It only provides 20% critical damage and piercing damage. If you can't get the full set of Sephiras, I recommend these Sephiras, by the way. If you can, try to get this Sephira of Mio Takamiya, since it can resolve your energy problems. This would be another recommendation from Sephiras. Free to play, it gives skill damage, attack, and the combination of the Sephiras gives life regeneration. This combination is also good, but you need to get these 2 Sephiras. This would be my personal recommendation for the Sephira stats. 7 critical rate, 2 piercing rate, 3 hit rate, 3 holy damage or damage versus spirits. In my case, I have a spare holy damage stat, so I'm thinking of swapping it for critical rate. Now we move on to the skill tree. This would be my personal recommendation for climbing the skill tree for SS rank. The reason the basic attack is increased is because of this little text that says 80% of the damage from the 5th basic attack will life regeneration. This would be a second recommendation. If the SS gems have lifesteal. The reason the basic attack is slightly increased is because of this text. When you hit an enemy with a basic attack, there's a 20% chance to recover 2 energy points. This little ability helps a bit with energy issues. This would be my personal recommendation to climb the skill tree for triple S rank. This would be my personal recommendation to climb the skill tree to rank EX or FX without the angel break. This would be my personal recommendation to level up the skill tree to rank EX or FX with the angel break. This would be my personal recommendation for passives. The first passive says, increases piercing rate by 60% on skill 1. Additionally, when said skill hits an enemy, you gain a 10% critical rate and 10% piercing rate that lasts for 5 seconds. This effect does not stack. The second passive says, increases holy damage by 25% and piercing damage by 25%. The third passive says, when using the bonus skill Infinite to enhance skill 1, it consumes 2 additional energy points per second and increases the damage of skill 1 by 50%. The fourth passive says, skill cooldowns are reduced by 1 second and each skill cast increases all skill damage by 5%. This effect can stack up to 6 times. This would be another passive recommendation if you don't have Sephiras, which helps with the energy problem. The passive says, the energy cap increases by 100 points. Every time you deal damage to the target, there's a 5% chance to recover 5 energy points. The effect activates about every 1.5 seconds. You can swap this passive for one of the two we're looking at. Now we move on to pets. The best pet for Mio Takamiya is this one. As you can see in this screenshot at 0 stars, it increases damage by 6%. And when it deals holy damage, it has a 5% chance to deal 5% more additional damage. And as you can see, at 6 stars, which is the maximum for a pet, it says it increases damage by 42%. And when it deals holy damage, it has a 20% chance to deal 20% more additional damage. Now we move on to the keepsakes. In my personal opinion, this would be a good combination of good keepsakes. Mio Takamiya's keepsake says, increases holy damage by 7% and increases critical rate by 5%. The other keepsake would be this white cat, which says, increases attack speed by 7% and increases movement speed by 5%. The other keepsake set would be the autumn one, which says, increases attack by 7% and increases defense by 7%. The other keepsake set would be this disc. It has no effect but serves to increase attack. If you don't have any, you can use any keepsake set you see here. If you don't have any keepsake sets, you can use any of the keepsake sets that have an attack stat, which will be sufficient. Now we move on to the gems. For the basic attack gem, I recommend these stats. For the first stat, attack speed or critical rate. For the second stat, ignore 25% defense or lifesteal. And for the third stat, the 20% attack boost for those basic attacks. This would make a good gem for basic attacks. For skill 1 gem, I recommend these stats. For the first stat, hit rate or critical rate. For the second stat, ignore 25% defense. If you want lifesteal, your DPS will drop, but you'll be nearly immortal with that stat. Just like in the video, Mio Takamiya versus G-Boss from 35 to 44. And for the third stat, the 20% attack boost for said skill 1. This would make a good gem for skill 1. The gem for skill 2 would be almost the same as skill 1. I recommend these stats. For the first stat, hit rate or critical rate. For the second stat, ignore 25% defense or lifesteal. And for the third stat, the 20% attack boost for said skill 2. This would make a good gem for skill 2. For the skill 3 gem, I recommend these stats. For the first stat, hit rate or critical rate. For the second stat, ignore 25% defense. And for the third stat, the 20% attack boost for said skill 3. This would make a good gem for skill 3. Although this gem could be saved for resources since skill 3 is rarely used. This would be 3 recommendations for the ship's treasures for Mio Takamiya. If you are wondering where to get this yellow treasure, you can find it in World 3 of the ship as you will see below. Now we will see a demonstration of damage from a Mio Takamiya semi-free to play. This would be the end of Mio Takamiya guide. I hope you enjoyed the guide and that it answered your questions. See you next time for the character guide.